イチロー選手が今朝 MLB 殿堂入りの仲間入りを果たしました。史上2人目の満票での殿堂入りを期待されていましたが、1票だけ獲得を逃し 99.7% での殿堂入りとなりました。 MLB 公式番組である MLB ネットワークでもこれまでのキャリアを振り返ると同時に今回の偉業について特集しておりましたので、翻訳して番組の内容をお伝えいたします。
Major League Baseball has always had a yearning to expand internationally, as you can see from this exhibit in the Hall of Fame. Playing baseball in front of the pyramids in Egypt in 1888. There are 17 ball players who have been inducted into this Hall of Fame that were born outside of the United States. None from the country of Japan until tonight. Let's give Ichiro some Cooperstown justice. The first thing to realize is that Ichiro came to the United States for his age 27 season. He was already a 7-time batting champ and 3-time MVP in Japan. To say the odds were against him being a Hall of Famer in the United States is a vast understatement. He was already well into his prime as a ball player, and there were many who questioned if a Japanese position player could have success in the United States. And yet, in year one, he hit .350, leading off for a club that won a mind-blowing 116 games. In 2004, he hit .372, a batting average that hasn't been topped since. So here's what Ichiro did for his first 10 Major League Baseball seasons. These are his averages: 159 games a year, 734 plate appearances leading off. This is an Iron Man. 224 hits, averaging 224 hits a year, a .331 batting average with 38 steals per year. Now, you could be thinking he's not a power hitter, and yeah, he's not. He averaged 291 total bases a season over a full decade. That's real production. Yes, he's a singles hitter, but this is incredible volume. In fact, I don't think our standard OPS plus and WAR stats do justice to this man's game. Ichiro came into the major leagues at a time when walks, plate discipline, and home runs had taken over the sport. And Ichiro had his own game from his own culture: slashing, batting average, forcing errors, speed, defense. What he did was rare, and rare means valuable. Just one example. In 2006, Ichiro led the league in a stat called bases taken. That's bases taken on passed balls or wild pitches. He was second in the league in reaching base on an error. He also stole 45 bases, got caught just twice. Ichiro was always pressing the advantage, gaining extra bases, while he limited extra bases with his arm in right field. And he did so while almost never missing a game for 10 years. In that decade, Ichiro had the most hits in the majors and was 6th in total bases. In terms of overall volume, that's a power hitter. And the total game, which I don't believe fully captures what he did on the field, only Albert Pujols and A-Rod had a higher WAR than Ichiro. He played his own game, and he played it beautifully. This man tonight, a trailblazer, an original, takes his place as a Hall of Famer.
Our first electee was a 10-time Major League All-Star, a 10-time Gold Glove Award winner, and a 2-time American League batting champion, becoming the 30th member of the 3,000 hit club over 19 seasons with the Seattle Mariners, New York Yankees, and Florida Marlins. Today, Ichiro Suzuki becomes a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. He came to Seattle in 2001 after winning 7 Pacific League batting titles with the Oryx Blue Wave of Nippon Professional Baseball, and immediately made a major impact. He took home AL Rookie of the Year and AL Most Valuable Player honors that year, as the Mariners tied a Major League record with 116 regular season wins. In 2004, he notched 262 hits, the most ever in a single season in AL or NL history, and he logged 200 or more hits in his first 10 seasons in America, while scoring 100 or more runs in 8 straight seasons. A career .311 hitter, he's one of just 7 players in Major League history with 3,000 hits and 500 stolen bases. As a member of Samurai Japan, he twice guided his home country to a World Baseball Classic title, and he becomes the first ever Japanese player to be elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Ichiro, welcome to Cooperstown. Our second member of the class of 2025 won 251 games and struck out 3,093 batters during a 19-year career with the Cleveland Indians, Milwaukee Brewers, and New York Yankees. Today, CC Sabathia becomes a member of the Hall of Fame. A 6-time All-Star and the 2007 American League Cy Young Award winner, he led the AL in victories in back-to-back seasons in 2009 and 2010, winning 20 games in the latter season to join the prestigious fraternity of Black Aces. He helped lead his team to the postseason in 10 different seasons, earning ALCS MVP honors in 2009 en route to a World Series championship with the Yankees. A native of Vallejo, California, he finished in the top 5 in Cy Young Award voting in 5 consecutive seasons from 2007 to 2011. Just the third southpaw to enter the 3,000 strikeout club, he ended his career with more Ks than any other left-handed pitcher in American League history. CC Sabathia, welcome to Cooperstown. And our final member of the class of 2025 played 16 seasons for the Astros, Phillies, Mets, Red Sox, and Braves, finishing his career with a sparkling 2.31 ERA and 422 saves, the 8th most all time. Today, Billy Wagner joins the Hall of Fame family. As one of the game's most dominating closers, his fastball regularly topped 100 miles an hour. He struck out 1/3 of the batters he faced in the big leagues, and his 1,196 career strikeouts stood for years as the most by a left-handed reliever in Major League history. Among pitchers with 900 or more innings, he has the highest strikeout rate and the lowest opponent batting average in MLB history. A 7-time All-Star who also reached the postseason 7 times, he finished 4th in the 1999 Cy Young Award voting when he posted a 1.57 ERA and 39 saves with 124 strikeouts in 74 2/3 innings for the Astros. A fireballer from Appalachia, he logged a career-high 44 saves in 2003, one of 10 different seasons in which he ranked among his league's top 10. Billy Wagner, welcome to Cooperstown. Cooperstown welcomes 3 new members to the Hall of Fame. BK?
Oh, Josh, outstanding. So a 3-man class. Ichiro's vote total, do we know that?
We do.
So, okay.
He finished with 99.7% of the vote, all but one vote.
All but one.
Indeed.
Okay, make of that what you will. It's very difficult. Only one man has ever been unanimous, Mariano Rivera. Everybody, literally all those guys there. That's Babe Ruth,
Once
Ty Cobb.
you're in, and the vote total doesn't matter.
How close were we with Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones?
Carlos finished right around 70%, and Andrew was around 66.3 or so. So both continuing to make strides.
Okay, huge day in late July, July 27th.
Right here in Cooperstown, we want to get as many people here to come visit us and see this thing up in person.
We are expecting a huge crowd. Again, the Japanese fans will be here.
Yeah, we think fans, if you look at the full class, all 5 of them, you're talking about basically half the teams in Major League Baseball represented at some point. So we think fans from all around America, all around the globe, are going to be here in Cooperstown, and we can't wait.
It's going to be a great weekend, our 3-man class. Josh, thank you so much. All right, Greg, 99.7%. Oh. An extraordinarily high percentage for Ichiro. One shy, don't double over, one shy right there. And again, Carlos Beltran and Andrew Jones may have to wait till next year, but they're very close. Greg, back to you.
BK, Josh, outstanding stuff. Josh Roberts speaking Japanese. That was incredible. All right, Bob, I love when you do this. Walk us through all of the results.
All right, first of all, Ichiro was a foregone conclusion. Whoever is the person who did not vote for Ichiro, he or she must step forward and explain themselves. Not to be pilloried. I'd just like to hear the reasoning, because I can't fathom a single reason.
Absolutely.
Can't fathom a single reason. CC Sabathia, maybe even a higher vote total than one might have expected, but we did expect him to be elected. Billy Wagner, right on the brink, was missed by what? A handful of votes, 5 votes last year, made it with 28 votes to spare. This year jumped from just under 74% to 82.5%. Carlos Beltran missed by 19 votes. Fairly certain he will make it next year. Andrew Jones took a large leap to just under 62%. And again, as Tom and others have mentioned during the course of the program today, the ballot loosens up a little bit in forthcoming years. So I think Andrew Jones has a heck of a shot. Chase Utley made a significant jump. He jumped 11% from 29%, 28.8 to 39.8. So that bodes well for Chase Utley. A-Rod and Manny Ramirez staying in the 30s. There was a bit of a tailwind, as I perceive it, from CC Sabathia for Andy Pettitte. He's still way off. He's at 28%. But as we mentioned earlier, when you compare Pettitte's numbers to Sabathia, there's a comparison there that may help him. in future years. And Felix Hernandez debuted on the ballot this year. He has credentials. He was an analytic darling. He won a Cy Young Award. He threw a perfect game. He had a good stretch. He wasn't much of a compiler. He was done essentially by age 30.
And Jimmy Rollins also went up in support from 14% to 18%. Dustin Pedroia, you're one of the ballot, 11.9%. Burley stays around 11%. But what I find interesting, Ian Kinsler was sort of packaged with Dustin Pedroia, two second basemen on the ballot for the first time. Kinsler does not get the 5%.
Yeah.
So he will drop off the ballot. And Ryan McCann got no support. So it was John Morosi and a few other of his friends, apparently.
Yeah, but there's only 10 slots on the ballot, so, you know, JP would like to have 20.
Yeah,
but
I mean, I'm with JP.
Somebody had to go. You know, David Wright and Dustin Pedroia were each on a Hall of Fame track, and circumstances, injuries, took them off that track, and that's likely keeping them from ever being elected. But they still have a shot, but...
Well, Buster Posey effect's going to affect guys like that, I think, because he's going to get him with 1,500 career hits.
I feel this way every year when we do this show. When you say that so-and-so is not a Hall of Famer, or it's borderline, or I have to think about it, it's perceived by some as if you don't appreciate what they've done. Anybody who played 10 years in the big leagues had a notable career. People like Curtis Granderson and Jimmy Rollins and Ian Kinsler and Ben Zobrist, Torrey Hunter, Adam Jones, these weren't good players. These were very, very good players.
They were household names.
Yeah.
Look at, I mean, you think about the time they're in, you turn that TV on, most of these guys were in the postseason. You knew who they were, you know, so that's pretty impressive, but they've dropped off. I'm miffed. Ichiro, 99.7. I mean, come on. I just, when you watch the grace that he played with, everything else, I can circle back and be upset. But look, this is a celebration. We got three guys. And then you got Dave Parker, and you also have
Dick Allen
going in. Class of 5, man, this is going to be huge. It is going to be a great time.
Ichiro
Congrats to CC, Wagner, Ichiro, all of them.
Ichiro needs to have a drink if Ichiro drinks. Something, raise a glass of something with Jeter. They're in an exclusive club. One guy did not vote for
Maybe
each
it's the
of
same
them.
person.
They were teammates with the Yankees. And, you know, in Japan, there is no custom of someone having a middle name. So Ichiro, delightfully quirky as he was, used to inquire about other people's middle names. And so he always, not always, but often called Jeter Sanderson. Hey, Sanderson, because that's Derek's middle name. Ichiro doesn't have a middle name.
You know, a day like this reminds me of why we love baseball so much, because anybody can play this game. And you think about the three gentlemen going to the Hall of Fame. You've got Ichiro. I mentioned when he signed with Oryx, it was 120 pounds.
Amazing.
Made a career out of hitting the ball softly. You've got CC Sabathia, who played at 6'6", 300. He is, by far, the biggest Hall of Fame player to ever play this game. And then you've got Billy Wagner at 5'10", right-handed, becomes left-handed. Only he and Whitey Ford in the last 90 years made the Hall of Fame as a pitcher at 5'10" or shorter. This game is for everybody, and these guys are among the 1% who played it better than anybody.
Such a good point. And if Dustin Pedroia hadn't been derailed by injuries, he'd be in at 5'9" or less.
When he first showed up for the Mariners, Lou Piniella was like, this guy's not hitting the ball like I was told he was going to be able to hit.
Because he's small.
Well, he's such a perfectionist, he's just making contact. And then the games came. And all of a sudden it was like, boom, here come the hits. Boom, one after the other. And he was an instant hit in Seattle. But it's the bat control. You know, so unique. We'd seen Wade Boggs, Tony Gwynn, Rod Carew, guys that we figured were magicians with the bat. Well, then along came Ichiro. And when he hit this ball in Japan, one hop knock, I mean, it took me back to Vlad Jr. type, Vlad Sr. type stuff, Vladimir Guerrero. But look at the head and the discipline. I mean, he knew it was a base hit. He hit that on purpose like it was cricket or something like that. But this guy had a magic wand. If he wanted to go the ball up the middle, he'd do it. If he wanted to pull one to right, he could do that. You want me to shoot the ball the other way? Oh, okay, jam me on my fist, I'll shoot it the other way. He did so many different things. And then he dropped the bunt. An art form that is truly missing. If you're gonna get 200 hits a season, you better drop some bunts. And this is what he did. Utilizing his speed and his ability to make contact. And then 262 hits in a season? 262? My goodness. But he had power. Tom talked about this earlier. The inside the park home run. You know who's in right field? Yeah, that's Ken Griffey Jr. Kick away from Jr., and Ichiro was off and flying. I thought that put together everything. The speed, the power, the ability to make contact, and snatch bases. Look, this guy was chasing records. And Greg, he was snatching bags in Seattle on a clip that had me a little bit nervous. He got the 56 stolen bases.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
I don't know how I snuck into this tape or even in this conversation, Bob, but I had 60. Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? He was chasing me. He almost got me, but anyway, he's going to the Hall. I'm not, and I'm talking about him, so I'll continue. All right, so throwing the ball, though, the accuracy and precision, I always thought this was made up, and I was told, nope, this was not. He did this like a Greg Amsinger comment. One take.
No way.
Boom. All right, and now the ricochets and everything else. Let's throw this one in the garbage can. Let's ricochet this one off the back wall. All right, watch this. Last one. Ricochet for me, Ichiro. All right. My favorite call of all time. Dave Niehaus, take it away.
Swung on and a ground ball punched into right field for a base hit. So heading to third base is Long. The throw to third base, and they've got him nailed at third base on a tremendous throw by Ichiro. I'm here to tell you that Ichiro threw something out of Star Wars down there.
That sums it all up, folks. Dave Niehaus, Hall of Famer in his own right, in my right, and then Ichiro.
And you know what? Just a footnote. Terrence Long is a footnote in two of the most memorable plays. He's the runner, cut down at third. He couldn't believe it any more than you could believe that Bo Jackson threw you out from like another area code at the plate. And Terrence Long is also the guy who hit the ball down the right field line that led to the flip play by Derek Jeter against the A's in the playoffs.
Wow.
So Terrence Long twice. You know what was the thing, though, about Ichiro? He immediately became one of my favorite players ever, not just because of how wonderful what he did was, but it was such a counterpoint to everything else around him. It's a bludgeon ball era, and this guy's playing a game that Ty Cobb would have recognized. A little bit like in basketball. Steph Curry comes along. Yeah, other guys shot threes, but he changed the game. Yeah. Caitlin Clark has changed the way people perceive the game. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know that it lasted with Ichiro. Other players that followed weren't many that played the way he did. Yeah. But remarkable. Plus, his regard for the game grows out of the Japanese culture. When he passed George Sisler, the Mariners played either that season or the next season an interleague series in St. Louis. Sisler played for the St. Louis Browns, who have long since become the Baltimore Orioles. He went to Sisler's gravesite to pay his respects to the man whose record he had broken. And as he put it, I felt I should honor this great statesman of the game.
Back with our full crew here, Jason Stark. Yes, I said it. I don't think OPS Plus and WAR fully capture what this player does. You know who I thought about? Because I'm not married to the metrics. I just want some objective methodology. But you think of Luis Arraez's value. In this day and age, a batting average contact guy who is a very difficult at bat in an age where we're still in the three true outcomes. And I think Ichiro was also that player, kind of at the vanguard of that sabermetric play in baseball.
We are undervaluing the ability to get a hit. Am I right?
Right.
I love walks. I love walks. There's nothing like the ability to get a hit. I had a conversation with Joey Votto this year where I was trying to make a case for him that he was better than Tony Gwynn. He said, no, I wasn't. Tony Gwynn actually got hits. And that's Ichiro. He got more hits in the United States and Japan than anyone who has ever played baseball. You just did the math, right? This is the combination of Japan and the major leagues. And we've got a guy with 4,300 hits, 2,000 runs scored, 700 stolen bases. It's like Ricky Henderson meets Ty Cobb. That's the life and times of Ichiro.
And we are to vote, you are to vote, on the players' record in the United States major leagues. There was a time, Joel, where, remember, the debate was, wow, what are we going to do with Ichiro because he has those great years in Japan, but you don't count those, and he's not going to be able to put up Hall of Fame totals in his major league career. He eventually did that, so we don't have to discuss it, but there was that thought for a while.
Yeah, but the way he played here, I kind of count the Japanese numbers. Like, they're totally legitimate to me. He did the same thing here that he did there.
Yeah, in retrospect,
if you want to say, like, here he was kind of Lou Brock. If we do it all together, he's Ty Cobb.
Yeah.
You know, like, both of them are Hall of Famers. I'm good with it. And I just want to say this when it comes to, like, what his WAR is or his OPS plus. This is going to be probably a theme of mine throughout the day, and I think about it all the time. I've done your show tons of times, so you know I have nothing but respect for the metrics. I use them. But, like, the writers vote because we're at the games and we talk to people at the games. Like, this is one of the reasons we vote. It's like, it's Ichiro Suzuki. Like, people in his time didn't care about OPS plus or their only singles. It's like, how do we stop him from destroying the game if we're the opponent?
Right.
I remember being at a ballpark. He, like, changed the geometry of the game. You know, like, a ball was hitting the gap and you kind of play that game of, I'm watching the ball. I know what it takes to get a double or a triple. And he was sliding into third base. And I was like, how was that possible? He was like a myth. And I just think if we get kind of locked up in what his OPS plus is, we miss that it's Ichiro Suzuki.
Right.
It's such an obvious Hall of Famer. Like, to get caught up in anything else, it seems ludicrous to me.
I agree with you, and if I may, like, the most recent example we have of baseball, Major League Baseball in the field was what, JP? The Dodgers doing baseball-y things and wiping out the Yankees, who could crush the ball left and right. Sure. But I think of Mookie Betts in right field, just cutting off a ball to the gap, and it keeps the guy to a single. But then there's Soto in right field, and suddenly a single is a double, and a double is a triple. And these are the things we're talking about, that Ichiro limited those bases and took extra bases. And I think that can go a little beyond the quantification.
Sure, and let's think about that Dodger team and Shohei Ohtani. I've had multiple people who follow the Japanese game closely tell me, without Ichiro, there is not Ohtani in the way that we see him now. Ichiro changed the perception, as you documented in the essay, BK, about the way that American baseball people viewed Japanese position players.
That was a debate at the time. It was like, hey, can this guy actually play in the U.S.?
Correct.
We don't think so. Right.
We had seen Nomo, but we had not seen a position player every day. Ichiro changed the way that American baseball people viewed Japanese talent. And Joel and Jason, you know this too, talking about being in the clubhouses, when players would come back from the All-Star game, question one might be, what was the experience like? Question two, what was it like to be Ichiro's teammate, and how was his speech in the American League clubhouse pregame? Yeah. Because we know that was one of the more iconic Ichiro moments. A final one I'm going to mention before I throw it back to you. I was in Japan in November, Premier 12 tournament, meeting the scouts in Asia, talking with them. I met one scout, his first name, Ichiro. He was named after Ichiro. That just gives you a sense of the magnitude of the man in the Pacific.
Can I just very quickly, just to appreciate, because we talked about him starting his career at 27. He started his career at roughly the age that Yordan Alvarez is now, that Ronald Acuna Jr. is now, and still got 3,000 hits and 500 steals.
Right.
Like, imagine if, like, Ronald Acuna was starting his career now. That's what Ichiro did in the major leagues.
Yeah, and I didn't even, until I did, hear the oldest players to have their first major league hit that are in the Hall of Fame.
The record was 23. He did it by 4 years.
To reach 3,000. That was the math. I mean, we all thought he might not get 3,000. Oh, yeah, he did. Look at that, 27 years old.
I didn't do a lot of research into Ichiro because, like, you know, I didn't have to. Like, in the Hall of Fame, it was like Adrian Beltre last year. Only at the end, I should probably do a little essay on Adrian Beltre. And I have to say, those first 10 years, those numbers are mind-blowing. Like, 224 hits per season for 10 years. The impact of that, not missing, playing 159 games a season. Think of the value of that. Like, if that guy was playing today.
You're going to like this. I have a special guest on the phone right now who's standing by, actually, to say something to you. Hey, special guest, would you like to say something to the newly elected Hall of Famer, Ichiro Suzuki?
Congratulations, Ichiro. Truly deserved. I am happy. I can't tell you, my wife is running around when she found out that you got the call. It is an honor. I can't wait to see you. Just one thing, you're bringing the sake because that's what the rookies have to do. You're now a rookie for the first time in 25 years. So I expect a nice bottle of sake for both of us.
George, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ken, thank you. So it had to be an amazing moment for you, Ken, to see Ichiro. You knew he was going to go in, but to actually see him, your teammates, celebrate like this, pretty great for you too, right, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, I was nervous on my day, and just sitting there, I was just as nervous for him because, you know, he's such a great ball player on and off the field. does so many things for the community that people don't know about, and just it's a true honor for another Mariner to be in the hall. So now I have company, other than Edgar. We can now have a little group meeting. We have the president, the treasurer, and now secretary, so we're good now. We can hold business meetings there.
I bet you will. I bet you will. Ken, thank you so much for hopping on.
Thanks,
and
George.
Surprise.
Thank you.
改めてキャリアでの活躍の偉大さを称えている内容でしたね。そして1票足らず満票を逃した結果となりましたが、番組でも投票しなかった理由を説明しろと言っていましたね。名乗り出て説明するようなことはないとは思いますが、まずはその1票より日本人初のメジャーリーグの殿堂入りを果たせたことに心より祝福申し上げます。イチロー選手、本当におめでとうございます。それでは次回の動画でお会いしましょう。さようなら。